Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Civil Gore Podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And this is Brian, and we have a epically small February dismemberment.
It's a short month and a short dismemberment, which we always say, and then we go 2 hours. Well, it is a longer. It's almost a full-size month. Almost.
Yeah.
It's a fun-sized month.
Yeah. Like they just knocked off a day or two.
Yeah. So we've got some fantastic releases for this month. And we start off with some peacock poo. So
yes, no joke. That's what it is called. No.
Brian, I am drinking an interesting beer today. This is a Stone. I actually got this for Christmas for my brother. It's a Stone Zokoveza.
Oh, I've seen those. Those are supposedly really good.
Yeah, it's an imperial stout inspired by Mexican hot chocolate. So
nice. Yeah, it's got that almost like Day of the Dead like artwork.
Yeah,
right?
Like Aztec maybe. But it was a little bit of a colder day today. It's been warm here, but it was a little bit chilly today. It's kind of chilly in the house for some reason. I was like, that'd be a good beer to record by. A little hot chocolate
stout.
A
little stout.
Yeah.
I'm actually just have water tonight just because I'm not doing any like dry January or dry February. It's just basically the last 2 weeks between my my LA trip for all the hockey games, and then Julie and I went away this past weekend. It's more of it's a detox week I'm trying to do. So yeah. I'm trying not to and then with the Super Bowl coming up next week, I'm
my God, yeah.
You know what, I'm gonna take Julie and I both agreed, we're like, all right, this week very light, like
very light.
Like I didn't even eat meat like the first 3 days of the week. Like that's how light I've becoming. I've
got to slim down for Super Bowl because we use Super Bowl as our excuse to just eat total garbage. I mean, that's all Super Bowl, because we're not a big football house. Like we don't watch a lot of football, but I do love Super Bowl parties. Yeah. So we always go all out for that.
We're going to do one this year because, my local team here, the Niners, are in it. So it's, my sister-in-law is a massive Niners fan. So we're going to go. Yeah. I'd not go to the thing, but we're going to go all out and get like a Super Bowl party, I meant to say.
Yeah. I was about to say, if you're going to the Super Bowl, I'm like, where, how, like what?
Yeah,
where did you get that kind of money?
I mean, here's the thing, though. I could technically, like, go down to, I'm not that far from Vegas. It's driving distance, right? I could go down and just soak up the atmosphere, but I don't know if I want to deal with that right now.
And I'm sure Anna will be watching for the Taylor Swift camera shot. So I've heard, there's all this speculation. Can she make it to the Super Bowl in time from Japan? And all those like conspiracies and things. Yeah.
What do you want to know something? Julie and I actually had that conversation on the way home from Lake Tahoe when we were driving. We discussed that, and Julie, who doesn't really care about any of that kind of like stuff like that. Yeah. She looked it up. She was like, well, okay, so she's on the 11th, but remember, they're this many hours ahead, yes. So technically, it's not even she's going to get here on the day before the Super Bowl, technically. And I'm like, and apparently that's like the biggest talk. They even have like, I think, betting odds on how many times she'll be shown through there.
Oh my gosh. Well, I read during the Chiefs-Ravens game, she was only shown for like, I think 40 seconds total, the whole broadcast, like a 3.
Yeah, but with the people complaining, you would have thought it was like 4 hours or something.
Oh yeah, no, it was, they said the average she's been shown on across all NFL broadcasts is 24 seconds.
Yeah, so how is that like the biggest, like why is that taking over the biggest story? Like literally.
I mean, they show shots of the fans more for 24 seconds, like just random people. So yeah. Anyway, my
what would you rather see? Seriously, like a coach like fuming on the sidelines, or like a nice like friendly face like in the crowd enjoying your life? Come on.
She's supporting her man. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
That's a damn rare thing these days. She's proud of her man.
All right. Well, let's get right.
You knew it had to go there at some point, but
oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, these are our Blu-ray releases for the week of February 6th, and we have a very short week. We only have 4 releases this week, and Brian and I differed on our picks of the week. Even
I know of all things, right?
But the first one up, as promised, from Indie Picks is Peacock, also known as Pooh.
Poo. Which will, of course, now we will know as that.
I guess that's the word for peacock. I don't know. I'm a German guy, not a Spanish guy.
Yeah, well, I know like chicken, I think in Spanish is pio or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like so something like that. I mean, it's not like, I don't think it translates to chicken, the word, but it's like
pollo.
a style.
Yeah.
Yeah, but pio or is a type of chicken or something. I don't know. I had a friend tell me this once.
Yes.
Because there was a restaurant called Pio Pio in New York City, and then she described it and explained it to me. So this must be a variation, I guess, because it's peacock.
A peacock's kind of a chicken, right? It's like a very pretty chicken.
It's a bird of some sort. That's all I know.
Do you know what a guinea is?
Oh, like the hens?
Yeah, like a guinea hen.
Yeah, they used to have those at in the Hamptons when we used to stay there. They had the hens. They would run around, and they're big and kind of frightening looking. They're like the size of turkeys.
When I was growing up, when I was little, my dad's his parents they lived way out in the country, and we'd go visit them, and there was like the neighbors always had these guineas running around, and I was like fascinated with them as a little kid, but I didn't know how many people knew who guineas were. I didn't know if that was a southern thing or whatever. It's not a chicken.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it. Like, yeah, I mean, my grandmother, she used to call them the guinea hens. So it specifically was her full term of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, what exactly, kind of like, like where the terminology, how it developed, or what signifies that as versus it. Because to me, it looks like they look like a turkey. I don't know.
It looks like a cross between a chicken and it's really weird looking.
It does.
Guinea hen. I don't know. I haven't seen one in so long, but they look like a cross between a chicken and a turkey, and it looks like a peacock with no tail feathers. I don't know. It's very weird.
So know what? Pio Pio, I think they're saying, I looked it up as we did it. It says it's the sound the chicken makes.
Oh.
So maybe poo is what a peacock made. I don't know. I've never spoken to a peacock. I can't tell you.
This is why our short episodes are 2 hours.
All I know is that the only thing I can tell you confidently about peacocks right now is that I was so happy I took advantage of the $20 a year deal for Peacock streaming.
Yes, me too. And we now have officially called the Peacock streaming service the Cock. And that's how it will always be known in our text feed. Yes. So is it on the Cock? Yes, it is. Okay.
Yes, it's on the Cock. I'm sorry, but it was right there. That's easy right pickings.
There. Yeah. All right. So this was about the psychosexual journey of a young woman into the dark recesses of the Afrikaner psyche and its compromised past. Afrikaner. Maybe what this is. What about? I just assumed this was Spanish. Maybe it's like South African or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that Pio Pio restaurant I told you about was actually Peruvian, I read. So I looked that up, too, while we were discussing. So, yeah, I'm not sure where this is. All I know is the trailer actually, funny enough, we're making fun of this whole thing. It actually looks really good.
The creep factor was very high in this trailer. I do want to see this. It looks really, really good. Yeah, as much fun as we're making of it, actually, it looks really amazing. So, I will be checking that one out, but no special features, unfortunately, on this.
Yeah. No, the special features you just heard was Tim and I discussing it. The next one is a pick of the week for you, so we'll skip to this one, and then we'll do our picks of the week because there's 2 more left. This one is by Mubi, and it's Lars von Trier's The Kingdom Trilogy. This, I guess, is from 1994 to 2022. I guess he had 3 movies here, but I'm not sure.
I think it's a television series, actually.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, he's got odd movies. He runs the gamut of what you're gonna get there.
Am I correct in saying that? I don't know. Sorry to interrupt you, Brian, but am I correct in saying this may have been
no
in some way related to Kingdom Hospital by Stephen King? Or did I just make that up out of thin cloth? I mean,
it would make sense, but
yeah, it is.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm right.
Oh, it is.
I'm right. It was based on
the Kingdom. Oh, yeah, it's Kingdom 1, 2, and 3. Okay, yeah.
Okay, because I just looked up Kingdom Hospital, which came out in the early 2000s, that I watched, and then I was like, for some reason, it was nagging me thinking that somehow related to this series, and it is. It was based on it, so this is the original. It's funny,
they don't mention that, though. They don't mention it interesting. Well, the description they gave us is filmmaker Lars von Trier's internationally acclaimed cult classic series. Oh, yes, series right there. Tells the stories of a hospital built on top of the old bleaching ponds in Copenhagen, where evil has taken root and medical science faces a daily struggle with itself. Where the Swedes curse the Danes, and the mysterious and inexplicable... Is that like the Hatfields and McCoys?
Yes.
And the mysterious and inexplicable blend together in a mixture of horror and humor, including... Clues: the Kingdom 2, and the Kingdom 3. Two Kingdom, Two Furious. No, the Kingdom, the Exodus series is actually the third one.
I saw Brian. You might like this one because I saw this as compared to like Denmark's Twin Peaks. Is what they described it as. So you might like this one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on in this trailer, and honestly, if I didn't know Twin Peaks at all, and someone gave me a trailer to that, I'd probably say the same thing. So yeah, I definitely want to see this, though, even though I don't know what on earth is going on in this trailer. But I would definitely, I mean, I like Lars von Trier's stuff is good, so so I would check it out. Selected episode commentary by Lars von Trier, Niels Vorsel, and Molly Stengard. I think Niels Vorsel was also he was also in the cookie making game over there. He's a film historian. He makes Vorsels.
Vorsels.
I don't know what is that O with what is that Ghostbusters O in there?
I don't know. How do you pronounce
that?
Kind of.
Is it Vorsel or?
I guess I have no idea. I don't know. I can't speak Swedish either.
Yeah,
sorry, Swedish.
Yeah, I don't apologize. But if anyone does know what the Ghostbusters O means when you do that, I don't. So the best way I could describe it, it's a zero with a line through it.
You have to go Niels for Ghostbusters soul.
I know. Or am I supposed to like pretend the O isn't there because it's crossing out, and I just go Voozle? I don't know. I need to know this. Anyone that's out there, we need some good. What's not? I was gonna say etymologist, but that's the study of bugs. What's the one that does the words, right? Or is it etymologist? I don't know.
There's one because I listened to a podcast one time that was the meaning of words and how they came up to be, and it was very interesting. But it had the name of what you're talking about in it, and I can't remember it now.
Oh, I know. Well, so either way, if you are a studier of bugs too, you can feel free to call in also, or email us also, because I'd love to hear about that too. But right now, I need a word etymologist or whatever that is.
Word scientist.
Yes, I need a word scientist. Where's Bimberly Burns?
Yes.
If you listen to the latest K-Sam, which I was dying at because poor Ketchum was like under the weather, but I feel like it made her like not just she's never not funny, but it made her like this whole new level of funny.
Yes.
Because she had this like edge to her. It was hilarious. But like also like this, she was so tired. So it was like the combination. It reminded us actually, and I don't know if this is an insult or compliment, but it reminded us of us when we like lose it during the dismemberment sometimes. Like there was one part they just started hysterical laughing over something they both said, and it was like it was killing me.
Yeah, but behind the scenes, typically some of our best episodes are when me and Brian do not want to record and we're tired.
Yes, it is. It's something about it.
Episodes.
Yeah, because you go on this like just this pure adrenaline that you have, and the habit of always doing it, and so. But also that means like basically all the energy you have is spent on just focusing on what you're doing. So the filters are like loose.
I think you like subconsciously overcompensate for being tired. So you're trying to be more energetic than you normally are, and then you like overcompensate, and then it gets crazy. And
it's a very interesting study. Like, well, I mean, that's why they do those Remember, there was a movie about that where they did that one study to see how people do if they like slept all like if they were deprived of sleep forever for like days and how they would function. I would love to do one of just some podcast hosts. We need to get that going. So also there's a couple more things on here. It's a Lars von Trier's Kingdom documentary, which is probably really good. Basically a good accompanying piece to this. Behind the scenes interviews Lars von Trier and cast, TV commercial for the Danish newspaper by Extra Bladet, which was also directed by Lars von Trier. I know. Oh God, yeah. Could you imagine? That's too much of a perfect thing, though. She's a newspaper person, and she literally just goes extra. The Kingdom trilogy, a companion 28-page booklet. So that's actually a nice little set there. Kind of snuck out of nowhere.
That could be a pick of the week. I mean, I'm fascinated. Like, I want to find out if this is streaming somewhere.
I know. Did we make a mistake? I think maybe because it defaulted, like because we found the other ones and we weren't sure what this was. It kind of snuck in there. It's like an honorary pick of the week.
Honorary pick of the week. All right.
So poor Pooh, because that like lost out just on everything.
My pick of the week was a classic that I really liked. Kino Lorber, Burnt Offerings from 1976. When a family rent a country mansion at a bargain price, they believe they're in for an uneventful summer. Little do they realize that they have just moved into a house of horrors. So 1970s haunted house story, of course, is right up my alley. Has an audio commentary with director, co-writer, producer Dan Curtis, actress Karen Black, and co-screenwriter William F. Nolan. And as Brian points out, Burgess Meredith, your house is haunted, rock.
Yeah, because he's got to yell that in there at some point, right?
Audio commentary by, I missed a film historian. Audio commentary by film historian Richard Harlan Smith. I don't know if he's one that we've had or not.
Oh, no, we did. I want to say he sounds familiar. Wow, yeah, and I missed him too. Usually I go through a once-over just to make sure I didn't catch that.
Yeah, we usually highlight him, but yeah.
Oh, no, we do have him. He's there.
Okay.
And like we expected, he only answers to his full name and been known to ignore people for hours at a time until they figure that out. So don't call him Richard. Don't call him Mr. Smith. He will not answer you unless you call him, excuse me, Richard Harlan Smith? It's like, what is that? Like Wendell Crumb, remember in Split? Like,
yeah.
Harry Wendell Crumb. It's like that. The tangents we go.
Oh my God, I know. Interview with actor Anthony James. Interview with screenwriter William F. Nolan. Interview with actor Lee Montgomery. Trailers from Hell with Steve Sinsky. Image Gallery and theatrical trailer. Keto Lorber always does great.
They do.
Titles, so.
They do. Steve Sinsky sounds like a cool dude, you know?
Steve Sinsky, yeah.
Like, he seems like the guy that, like, he's the kid, like, when you grew up that, like, had, like, the Nintendo before anyone else or something.
But he also had a mustache because he was, like, 20.
Yeah.
He was still in high school.
He was, like, older than everyone. Yeah, he was that, like, let's go over to Sinsky's house. Yeah, totally. So my pick of the week, I figured I had to pick it since I did already pre-order it and it's on its way. That's Candyland from Quiver Films, which I don't believe we've had as part of Dismemberment yet. And this is the one. This is from 2022, which is crazy. It seems like it didn't come out that long ago, but this was a one that Jeff Whitmire was raving about. So I usually trust his judgment, and he hasn't steered us wrong yet. So I remember I watched this, and it was really, really good. Olivia Ducardi, and it's really awesome. The description of it is, it's a seemingly naive and devout young woman finds her way in the underground world of truck stop sex workers, aka lot lizards. That's all it tells you, but that's all you need to know. I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but it's pretty, definitely deserves its unrated, moniker there. I think I don't know if the Blu-ray is R, but the version I saw was unrated, so it definitely earned that. You'll see what I mean when you see it.
I remember this one. I remember him talking about this one when it came out, and I had it on my list, and for some reason I just never got to it. So I'm glad this came up in the Dismemberment, so I can put it back on my watch list.
Yeah, you need to watch it. It's really, really good. It comes with some modest features, but I think it's like a limited edition release, so I don't think it's going to be available for very long. I think it's a very short run release. I think because they didn't make a lot of copies supposedly. But it comes with a filmmaker commentary and a digital zine. Remember when you used to call things zines?
Like I remember. Zines.
Remember that meme? Yeah. Remember that zine? Why is everything that rhyme with that now is gonna have that? You gotta say it that way.
So I guess we'll recap our short week here. We had Peacock Pooh. I didn't have a year on that one.
Oh yeah,
almost a year on that one. IMDb Pooh.
Yeah, you have to write Peacock Pooh or it won't come up.
2022.
Okay.
Is that?
Oh, so it's kind of recent Pooh. Okay, fresh Pooh.
Fresh Pooh. We had Lars von Trier's The Kingdom Trilogy. That was 3 TV series. And then we had our picks of the week. My pick of the week was Burnt Offerings from 1976. And Brian chose Candyland from 2022.
Yes. I figured if I ordered, if the one out of 4 movies and the one I ordered, how could I not choose that as my pick of the week,
When you literally picked it for your
I literally picked it for the week. I felt like I had to. Although, you know what? Pretty much all of these could have made it. The only reason I think Pooh would have been last place was because it has no features, so.
Yeah. So that brings us to the week of February 13th. Only 2 releases this week, one of which was our mutual pick of the week. The one that we did not choose was Well Go USA, A Creature Was Stirring from last year. A nurse taking care of her daughter's mysterious affliction struggles to hide her secrets when uninvited strangers take shelter in her house during a lethal blizzard. But we both want to see this one because it was directed by Damien Levesque, who was on the podcast for The Cleansing Hour.
Which was a great
many moons ago.
Yeah, and that was we were big fans of that. That movie actually opened me up to a lot of new things because not only was Damien Levesque a great guy to talk to, but the actress in there, Alex Angelis, I started following her, and she has a twin sister, Chris Angelis, who is a musician who does some really good songs and stuff. She actually plays locally in California sometimes. The one time it was going to go, I was out of town and she was actually in the Bay Area. So, but I follow her and I get her newsletter. So, Yeah, so that's she's got I think you'd like her style too. She's got really good voice. And sometimes actually Chris and Alex go team up. They do a duet on some of their stuff. So she's fun.
They're a pretty good team.
They're a pretty good team. They're saving vocals already. They're a pretty good team. You know what's funny? I almost I said that and not realize what I said it because I was kind of joking about, Brock Purdy being on the 49ers as a Super Bowl. And I said, they're a pretty good team. And I'm like, oh my God, look what I just said. And I didn't tell Tim that. Oh, I just went by and someone else is watching La Posición de El Ter. Talk about more of that in our regular episode. But yeah, and it's funny, A Creature Was Stirring. When I keep seeing that it's on my list, and I keep thinking it's the other one. Wasn't that the Rebecca McKendry one that was something like that?
Yes.
Creature,
something similar.
Was it also A Creature Was Stirring?
I don't know if it was something the same title, but it sounded similar.
It was basically from that line, like A Creature Was Stirring all through the house. Yeah, but it's not all through the house because it's another slasher. But it was something.
Yeah, it was all they're going to use every line of every Christmas song for a horror movie at some point.
Yeah, and Tim and I'm going to give a spoiler alert. Tim and I have written a Christmas horror movie. It's called Bowl Full of Jelly. It's although someone will probably do that about a gelatinous thing that comes out and kills Santa Claus or something. I don't know. Anyway, so that'll bring us to our pick of the week, which is a movie we both saw and loved. But this one's getting a Shout Factory release and it's Willy's Wonderland in 4K. And that's a collector's edition. It's from 2021, the Nick Cage vehicle. Was it originally called Wiley's Wonderland, I guess? And they changed the name at the last minute, I guess. Doesn't matter because he doesn't speak throughout the whole movie. So you don't need to know his name. But really, really good. Way better. And it's funny. A lot of people are saying, oh, they're ripping off Five Nights with Freddy. From what I understand, and from what you, Tim, told me, and I trust you explicitly, I will implicitly. No, what is it? Explicitly or implicitly? What's the word? There,
both.
Okay, they both work. Okay, fine. Then both. Tim.
I guess.
I trust you on that. This was way better than Five Nights at Freddy. It's probably what Five Nights with Freddy should have been. And there's great Nicolas Cage action in this, even though he has no dialogue, but that's how good he is. He doesn't need to speak. And inside, it's got some featurettes here: an Inside Fun featurette, a set tour with actor Christian Del Grosso, Fresh Meat featurette, Color for Darkness, and the Demon Etrons featurette. I guess those are the creatures that come after him. A trailer and some image galleries.
Yeah, this one was so much better than to me personally. I'm not going to speak for other people, but to me personally, I would watch this 10 times in a row over watching Five Nights at Freddy's one more time. That just maybe was just other than Matthew Lillard, who is amazing. I love Matthew Lillard, so I won't say anything bad about him. But the rest of the movie, I just didn't care for it. I thought it was a slog, which you kind of don't want in a haunted animatronic movie. You don't want to be bored, and there was way too much conversation and dialogue for that to be the focus of the movie.
Isn't it close to 2 hours? Is it long on top of it?
Yes, it's super. It took me 3 days to watch that movie because I was so bored. And I can't imagine how Joshua sat through it in the theater, honestly.
Wow.
But yeah, and especially for we've talked about it before, but for a kids-oriented movie, I think you got to keep the action, the pace, chop chop.
Yeah,
and that one did not at all. So yeah, only 2 releases. Creature Was Stirring, and our pick of the week, Willy's Wonderland 4K Collector's Edition.
Nice.
I kind of want to rewatch that now, actually, because it is vintage Cage for sure.
Yeah,
it doesn't even have to talk in his vintage Cage.
Oh, totally.
All right, February 20th, we start getting. Actually, no, we still only got 4 releases this week, so they saved all their flood for last week. So the week of February 20th, we did have a few steelbooks coming out. Walmart's doing a set of exclusive steelbooks coming out the last 2 weeks of the month, and they're going to have Prisoners of the Ghostland, which is another Nick Cage vehicle, Train to Busan, Children of the Corn 2020. And the VHS triple feature, which I think is the first 3 VHSs, if I'm not mistaken. They're all going to be Walmart steelbooks, if that's your thing. First up, though, for February 20th, we had Kino Lorber, Leviathan 4K, 1989. Perched on the hull of a wrecked Soviet freighter, a team of deep-sea miners led by head oceanographer Stephen Beck comes face-to-face with a mutant creature that's the product of a failed genetic experiment. As Beck's crew members begin to disappear one by one, the flesh-eating monster lurks below the surface, and the divers left alive are scared to death. And I watched this one a year or two ago for the horror challenge, and it was definitely Alien Under the Ocean. You could tell it was definitely an Alien clone, but it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm just due for a rewatch. I haven't seen this in years since it was on cable back in the 90s.
Yeah. This has a 2-disc set. Disc 1 is the 4K Blu-ray, with a brand new 4K restoration from an Interpositive, and a new audio commentary by film historian Steve Mitchell and Nathaniel Thompson.
Yeah, of course you remember Nathaniel Thompson. Everyone remembers. He's grandfathered in.
He's every month.
He's either Statler and Waldorf or a Stygian witch, whatever, you know. But Steve Mitchell, he's not as repetitive of a guy here. So, but he's Howard Berger's a friend who is another film historian that's not mentioned here today. But he was a friend in high school and he got picked on, and Howard stood up for him, kind of like Burt Wonderstone from Burt and Anton, kind of a thing they had going. Eventually, Howard, though, got too big for his britches and broke up the duo. But after a few years, they realized he was wrong, and he made amends and reunited with Steve, and they became film historians. He's super down to earth. Every man, he would give you the shirt off his back unless it's a super limited edition autographed by Darren McGavin Kolchak the Night Stalker t-shirt. Boy, he's got a backstory.
Wow, what a backstory. Yeah, I love this interconnected film historian universe we got going.
We really do.
It's a full-fledged universe now.
Yeah. You know what? Remind me. Don't let me forget this, because I always forget this. And then I'm going to rush to save this. I'm going to forget it. Just remind me of the film historian universe when we were done recording, because I got to tell you something about that.
Okay. All right. So disc 2 is the Blu-ray, and it has a Leviathan Monster Melting Pot featurette, Dissecting Cobb, interview with actor Hector Elizondo, Surviving Leviathan, interview with actor Ernie Hudson, and a theatrical trailer.
Yes. Next one is actually your pick of the week, and then my pick of the week, so we skip all the way to the end again. It's so funny we're splitting the pick of the week is like out of 4
Only
movies.
short weeks, yeah.
And this one is from Troma, called The Slashing, The Final Beginning, from 2020. No brain. I was going to say brain surgery level thinking here. What you're going to get with something like that. It's going to be a big slasher parody. 5 years after the slashing, 22-year-old Madison Santanelli moves to Brooklyn to start a new life in the wake of her father's suicide. Yeah, you pretty much know what you're getting. And this trailer doesn't even look like a good Troma film. I'm sorry. Troma films I don't expect, Citizen Kane. But it even looks like they're getting lazy or something.
Looked a little lazy for a Troma.
Yeah.
I even had a pass. I'll put a pass in the comments on this one.
And I'm usually a huge fan of Troma because it's like what we say with Full Moon. It's like, okay, you know what you're getting, but I feel like Full Moon kind of innovates still slightly. They still kind of give you a little something different each time, even while sticking with their same kind of thing. But
somebody made a comment on one of the horror groups on Facebook, and they were talking about the Baby Oopsie movie they had watched. He said this was one of the stupidest films I've ever watched, but somehow I found it oddly charming and really enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, that's every Full Moon movie.
That's
what they do.
Yeah, most of them are. I mean, granted, some of the Puppet Masters were just great movies. I mean, all
they were
together.
Just great.
But when you get up into Puppet Master 12 and 13 and stuff like that, you're gonna run out of silliness. But even again, the last one, what was it, Dr. Death? I loved.
Yeah.
So there's something about Full Moon has a way. It hits that sweet spot every time where Troma can miss sometimes. I think Troma sometimes tries to out Troma themselves, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Full Moon, I don't blame Troma for trying different things. I just think, but yeah, there are some hit and miss there more so to me than Full Moon.
Yeah, because I think Full Moon there's something about it. There is a core formula to these Full Moon movies. If you look at them, they're all kind of they kind of have something to it that you can always you can compare it to a similar movie, even though it's not in plot point. Just there's a feel to them, and they manage to just hit it every time right. And but with Troma, I feel sometimes I don't know, maybe if Lloyd Kaufman's not really overseeing every bit of it, it could miss. I don't know. I don't know.
And on the flip side, and this is definitely not a Troma versus Full Moon.
No.
On the flip side, they are very different in that Troma usually tries to push the edge. They're very politically incorrect.
Yeah.
They tend to be a little more gross out and stuff like that. So it's a little bit apples and oranges. So I don't know, but I agree. I think and some people may fault Full Moon for having that that consistency. They may say, well, that's bland because they're always doing the same thing over and over. But I found it kind of comforting, like mac and cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like a peanut butter jelly. It's like a comfort.
Yeah, like every
thing.
so often, if I can't find something to watch, like, or there's maybe there's too many things I want to watch at some time, I will always go to the Full Moon streaming service, which I will praise that will not get off that hill. I'm telling you, because it's a great selections on there, tons of stuff, and I'll just pop something on there because it's I know what I'm gonna get, and there is that comfort. It's like, yeah, like you said, like, it's like the hot cocoa after shoveling snow. You come in and
yes,
or it's like, like the hot dog on a nice summer day at the ballpark. There's
come on, kids, we're going to McDonald's.
Yeah,
so you know what you're gonna get.
Exactly.
It's not gonna blow you away, but it's gonna be all right.
You're not gonna be disappointed.
No.
So.
All right, so that brings us to our pick of the week. My pick of the week this week was one that I am so desperately due for a rewatch. I honestly don't think I have seen this movie since it came out on VHS.
Wow.
This is Darkman, 4K Collector's Edition, 1990. I guarantee you I have probably not seen this since like 1993. So I'm very overdue for a rewatch. A brilliant scientist left for dead returns to exact revenge on the people who burned him alive. Disc 1 is the 4K Blu-ray, new 4K restoration from the original camera negative, approved by director Sam Raimi and director of photography Bill Pope. New audio commentary with filmmaker and Darkman superfan Josh Rubin. Audio commentary with Bill Pope. Disc 2 has deleted scenes, new deleted scenes, that is, that have not been released before. Dissecting Darkman, an interview with actor Liam Neeson. Interview with actor Frances McDormand. The Name is Durant, an interview with actor Larry Drake. The Face of Revenge, interview with makeup designer Tony Gardner. Henchman Tales, interviews with actors Danny Hicks and Dan Bell. Dark Design, an interview with production designer Randy Sir and art director Philip DeGort. Vintage, making of featurette featuring interviews with Sam Raimi, Liam Neeson, Frances McDormand, and more. Vintage interviews with Sam Raimi, Liam Neeson, and Frances McDormand. Theatrical trailer, TV spots, still galleries, posters and production stills, behind the scenes, makeup effects, and storyboards. So that sounds like a great disc, especially for someone like me that hasn't seen it in a long time. That would be a great pickup to go through.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't make it pick of the week is because it kind of is it's just an upgrade, because I think the Shout Factory had a regular version of it, but also because I'm waiting for that big box set of it. So that's the only reason why I did not pick of the week, because it easily could have been. And I picked this one because this is more of one of these like rarer films that doesn't get releases. And this one's from Powerhouse Film, Patrick from 1978. It says, after the shocking bathtub death of his mother and her lover, the sinister Patrick lays comatose in a small private hospital, his only action being his involuntary spitting. When a pretty young nurse, just separated from her husband, begins to work at the hospital, she senses that Patrick is communicating with her, and he seems to be using his psychic powers to manipulate events in her life. And now that I see your comment, I think we've had this discussion. This is like almost like the Sender, almost.
We discussed this like last week, I think.
Yeah, like what did it come up for? Because I don't know what made it come up, but remember you thought you saw it also, and I'm like, no, it was the Sender that we did. Because
we didn't cover this one in January. Did it get pushed? I don't think we covered this one.
I don't think so either, unless we did. But because I don't remember reading that the involuntary.
That's what I was
spitting.
saying. Yeah, because I thought we would have said something about involuntary spitting. I almost didn't put it on here because I was like, did we go over this? Because I remember that conversation, but there's no way we passed over involuntary spitting. We would have and didn't comment.
Yeah,
on it.
No, there's no way. But I do remember we were, unless it was another movie that was also like this that we discussed this with the Sender. But this is even more like the Sender, because remember in the Sender the only difference is he tries to commit suicide in the beginning, but there is a bathtub death in that somewhere else, I believe. And then
oh no, you're right. Okay, wait a minute. No, we did not cover Patrick. It was not in January. We did cover the Psychic. But that's not about a guy in a bed. That's about actually.
No, but that's probably what brought it. Yeah, you're right. That's probably what brought it up.
Been what brought it up.
Brought up Sender. But this is even more like the Sender, because remember, that's what he was doing to Catherine Harold's character. He was controlling and putting thoughts in her head.
Yeah.
But in this, I guess it was different because he did it to her and other people he could do. This one, it seems like Patrick is just kind of focusing on the one guy.
I just want to see the involuntary.
I know that's literally what made me do the pick of the week. No, but kidding. But it is now. But I always kind of wanted to see it. I've always seen it on the list. I think it might have been in one of those hard documentaries. that I've seen before. One of those like why horror or something like that. One of those type of things.
Yeah.
But this has got a packed disc. It's got the new 4K restoration of the film by Powerhouse Films. It's got 3 presentations of the film: the original Australian theatrical version, the shortened U.S. theatrical cut with American dubbing, and the Italian theatrical version featuring an alternative score by Italian prog legend, Tim Prog.
Ooh, Goblin.
Yeah, prog legend Goblin, and presented with the English subtitles for the first time. So that sounds cool.
That would be cool, like a new soundtrack with Goblin.
Yeah. So it's already swaying Tim to pick of the week.
Yeah.
It's got an audio commentary with director Richard Franklin and screenwriter Everett DeRoche. On-set interview with Richard Franklin, behind-the-scenes interview with the Patrick director, conducted by Australian film critic Ivan Hutchinson. He's getting up there. He could be a historian by next week. Interview with Richard Franklin, previously unseen interview in which the director discusses Patrick. A coffee break with Anthony I. Giannani, 2009. It's the renowned genre film producer revisits Patrick. Not Quite Hollywood interview excerpts. It's an extensive selection of outtakes from Mark Hartley's acclaimed documentary on Australian cinema featuring Franklin DeRoche, Janine, and stars Susan Penhaligon and Rod Mulliner. That Penhaligon, I know. That sounds like an Xbox game, doesn't it?
Yeah, or it sounds like something you had to calculate the area of in 8th grade.
Yeah,
calculate the area of this Penhaligon.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a 17-sided thing.
Yes.
It's like one of those weird die you get in a box of like 45 role-playing dice. The one you never use, but
yes.
Stephen Morgan on Patrick 2023. Appreciation by the academic and Australian cinema specialist. Original Australian theatrical trailer, original U.S. theatrical trailer, TV spots, image gallery, promotional and publicity material, and behind the scenes. New and improved English translation subtitles, newly translated English subtitles for the Italian soundtrack, and a limited edition exclusive 80-page book with a new essay by Alan Miller, exclusive extract from director Richard Franklin and producer Anthony I. Giannani's unpublished memoirs. His memoirs was like, I woke up this morning and I wrote a film about involuntary spitting. Archival interviews with screenwriter Everett DeRoche and special effects supervisor Conrad Rothman, and full film credits. That is a packed disc. That's like,
I mean, I would take voluntary spitting.
I know. I seriously, I think I might have to get this movie already.
It is kind of cool. Yeah, 78. That would totally be up my alley. It's a 70s film. I would totally be into it. All right, so to recap the week of February 20th, we had Leviathan 4K from Kino Lorber. We had The Slashing, The Final Beginning from Troma from 2020. And my pick of the week was Shout Factory's Collector's Edition of Darkman 4K. And Brian chose Patrick from Powerhouse Films' 1978 packed disc. All right, February 27th, that's our big week. Extras aren't as big this week, though.
No.
Only 8 titles. We did agree on our pick of the week. We have 2 more of those Walmart steelbooks. Oh, no more than 2. We've got Hollow Man, Creepshow, Anaconda, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Walmart exclusive steelbooks. If you are into that.
Did you hear about that? By the way, the Anaconda, they're trying to do a reboot of that, but it's supposedly a meta continuation reboot or something, like where they have it where it's like I don't know if when they what they kind of mean by that, but I feel like it's supposedly took place in that Anaconda universe, but it's like meta. They said, I don't know.
Anaconda universe. I don't even know what is the only movie I know of is Anaconda, and then there was something like Blood Diamond.
Yeah, well, there was I think 3 Anacondas, and then I think they had a hybrid one where they mixed it with Lake Placid. So yeah, it's like one of those where they just. But all I know is keep John Voight out of it. He died anyway, so he can't come back.
Well, the only thing I know about anacondas is that mine don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
Yes. Oh my god.
Little 80s hip hop humor there for you.
Yes.
All right. I could still say every word to Baby Got Back. It's like the stuff that's in my brain. Why that song?
I got Stranger Things in there. Don't worry. But that's that's definitely our generation song there.
Yes, yeah. All right, so the week of February 27th.
Oh wait, can I just say one thing before you start?
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at your Steelbook thing and the way you wrote it. It's funny. It's like it looks like Walmart Hollow Man is the title. Like so you go around with his pants on the floor, but like you can still you can see he's invisible, but the pants are on the floor because they were like below like his waistline, and they didn't get like the full Hollow Man.
He's only invisible when he's in Walmart.
Yeah, that's true. Just by the way, totally off topic, but not really. Walmart like just said they're going to open up 150 new stores. They're trying to do, but like the smaller ones.
Where?
I don't. But the smaller ones, like we have one out here. That's like there was one actually in East Bay. It's like a Walmart, but it was like a just groceries kind of thing. Like, and there's one out here, and there's one in Long Island. I remember, and they're like much tinier. They're just the food part. So I think that a lot of them are gonna be that. They're trying to focus on smaller locations.
I'm a Target
stores.
guy.
Me too.
I'm a Target guy.
I'm a Target guy. I've gone to Walmart for occasion of things, but like I feel like every time I order something online, it gets canceled. It's never there. I'll go to Walmart if we're in the shopping center for something else, and there's a Walmart in there, and I need some time to kill. I'll run in there and look at the.
I don't like how Walmart went 95% self-checkout.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's Red Tim
that's
territory.
A whole diatribe. Yeah. Self-checkout. Target still. I mean, they have self-checkout, but they're prominently cashier.
But if you notice, there's also always someone at the Target self-checkout to assist or to kind of like help you out or kind of be there to kind of oversee it. So I feel like it's not like totally taking away jobs. And if something's wrong, they're like right next to you in 2 seconds trying to fix it. So
and they're building a Target right by my house, like literally within walking distance of my house, which is going to be completely dangerous.
Oh, that's very dangerous for you, Tim. Yeah,
because I do not spend less than $100 in Target. I don't care if I'm going in there for toothpaste. Yeah, I'm going to walk out with $100 worth.
Yeah, Target's just one of those stores. Like if you pull into the shopping center, even if you weren't intending to go there, you now have to go in there. That's the rule. If
you're going to go in there and you're going to buy something.
Yes. And you can never walk out of there without something, whether it's like a bottle of soda even or something. There's this weird like just unspoken law in the land. If you park like in the vicinity of a Target, you must go in, and once you're in there, you must purchase something.
You know what? I don't think I've ever walked out of a Target not buying something. Ever.
I think I did once, but it was only because I was only there for the bathroom. So I left something, if that counts.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Forget if you have kids. If you have kids that go to Target, you're gonna spend $200. Yeah, minimum coming out of there. But anyway, all right. So our week of February 27th, we have this was a new one, Allied Vaughn.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
That's the publisher, Allied Vaughn. What does that mean? Like Vince Vaughn?
Is that like if all the Vaughns got together, they became Allied Vaughns? I don't know.
Did they fight Axis Vaughn in Vaughn World War II? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We need to find out more about this one.
The disc title is What Goes Around from 2020. A timid college student discovers that her... That sounds like me. I was a timid college student.
You were.
A timid college student discovers that her crush could be a notorious serial killer.
You were just a capital Tim-id.
Yes,
because your name was in there, so it's Tim-id.
This one looks okay.
Yeah, this is with Grace Van Dien, and the one she was in the last season of Stranger Things. I found out she's like you know what she's doing? She's done this movie, but this was from 2020. She's basically almost like trying to give up acting because I read a thing about how she's been so harassed by producers in Hollywood, and so she just kind of got like disillusioned already. So now she's like a huge Twitch video gamer.
Really?
Yeah, she has her own Twitch channel. I got to look up the article. I just read it the other day. I'll try and find it for you and send it to you because it gives her Twitch handles, and apparently she's like getting really popular on Twitch. So good for her.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this one looks interesting. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, you've seen it before, but what's his face? Kyle Gallner's in it, right? I think he looks. Yeah. He's great in whatever he's in. So, definitely a big fan of his. I had checked this one out.
Yeah. No extras listed for this one, but.
Yeah, they
still looks interesting.
Allied Vaughn's just getting started,
Yeah.
Next one is one we've had before, even though it's very rare we get these. But Cleopatra, is releasing The Black Mass from 2023. A true crime thriller inspired by real events. Black Mass is set over a 24-hour period in Florida during the winter of 1978. The film follows a serial killer in the days leading up to his final unhinged rampage, providing a disturbing and terrifying look in the warped psyche of a notorious murderer, as well as the ramifications of his violence for those who fell victim to it and for those who survived. And yeah, this one doesn't look too bad. Like Tim said, Rory's up for some serial killer movies there. I like that it's now and from the trailer, it looks like they kind of captured the 70s vibe going on, the grittiness a little bit. I mean, Florida pretty much is not that hard to film it and make it look gritty. But as long as you're not in Orlando, too many things are built up there. It's only got a slideshow, movie trailers, and more on there. So I'm not sure what more is. Probably just more Cleopatra releases, I have a feeling. But
yeah. Next one up is from Kino Lorber. This is The Whip and the Body from 1963. Kurt Menliff is a ruthless and sadistic 19th century nobleman who returns to his seafront castle home after years of wandering. He finds himself immediately at odds with his invalid. I always said invalid.
He's not. Well, yeah, he may not be invalid either. We don't know. We need a DNA test. We need a paternity test on that one.
With his invalid father, a count, as well as Kurt's spineless younger brother, Christian, whom is married to Kurt's cousin and former lover, Navenka. Get all that?
Yeah.
When Kurt is found in his room on the next night, murdered, suspicion falls on everyone, which gets more complicated. Can it get any more complicated?
I know. I'm already lost. I'm already trying to figure out if this guy is metaphorically spineless or like physically spineless, and he's just like kind of swarming on the ground. Around. Yeah, he's flopping around like a fish. I don't know.
Which gets more complicated when Navenka begins seeing his ghost, real or imaginary, haunting the castle, supposedly wanting revenge against his killers. I can confirm there were both whips and bodies in this trailer.
Yes, there's literally a whip and almost. I'd say for the 3 minutes this trailer there's a whip every 5 seconds at least.
Yes.
One thing too is I can't every time I see the word whip, I have to say it as whip. Because do you know why though?
Whip.
Do you remember Revenge of the Nerds? John Goodman was playing the evil coach. Remember, and he goes, "You boys just got your asses whipped by a bunch of nerds." And
it reminds me of the Family Guy sketch with when Stewie is getting on to Brian because he says "cool whip."
Oh yeah, cool whip.
He says, "Okay, say," whip. He says, "Say cool, say whip, now say cool whip, cool whip."
Yeah, well, it is. It's a whip, So it's like I don't know the whip. So I don't know.
This has a new 2K restoration completed by 88 Films. Audio commentary by Tim Lucas, author of Mario Bava, All the Colors of the Dark.
He's been everything already.
Tim Lucas does everything.
He does.
Limited edition O-card slipcase and theatrical trailer.
Yes. RLJ Entertainment, one of our favorites because they release all the great Shudder films.
Yes.
And this is VHS 85 from 2023. Of course, I'm going to get this one because I have all the others on Blu-ray. It's one of my favorite anthology series. Of course, 99 is our personal favorite due to our friend Emily Sweet being in it. But anyway, this one was really good. This one's really brutal.
Very brutal.
Yeah,
oh my god! That first segment was almost hard to watch.
Yeah, and that's with Chelsea Grant. She's another actress. We kind of follow her on Instagram, and she she'll chat with us back and forth a little bit. She was the one that she's really good in scare packages, both 1 and 2 she was in. So she's gotten a little career here with the horror anthologies going. She's really good. She's the one in the first one where her face is hanging off. Remember? So the one where her jaw drops. That's her.
Face off.
Yeah. But anyway, in case you didn't know what the VHS series is all about, I'll give you this little one here. An ominous broadcast brings viewers forgotten nightmares of the 1980s. A disaster recovery crew unleashes the wrath of an ancient god, a lake that brings the dead back to life, a performance art piece that makes contact with a creature from beyond, and an all guns out undead bloodbath, a disturbing vision of videotaped murders. What I liked about this one is they had a more of a connection in this one with the different segments a little bit than they had previously. Usually the wraparound connects them all, but this one is literally there were 2 different segments that you did not think connected that were connected. They kind of go back and forth. So it was really interesting. But I really enjoyed this one. I one of these days we need to they keep coming out with them, but this is definitely going to be a future summer slaycation. Because now
we've threatened to do a found footage only summer slaycation.
Yeah, and this one we were thinking it's either maybe this year or next year. We haven't decided yet. We have plenty of summer slaycation material. We don't need to worry about. We're not going to run out, but yeah, we already had. I think we have the four options in mind, and now actually a new one has emerged. By the way, because I would love to do because especially now I found out. I don't know if you saw Jeff Whitmire's post. Not only did Horror in the High Desert's third movie is about to come out, but fourth and fifth are in the works.
Oh,
yeah,
that was a great.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
oh man,
that just blew me away. And I once again want to apologize to David McHugh, who did suggest us this years ago, and we did. It's just, you know what it is. I think we probably wrote it down somewhere, and I just with all the other stuff, just lost in the shuffle. And he wasn't as
we do read everything.
Yeah. Oh no, we checked everything. It's just, you know what it is. He didn't hammer us as much as One Cut of the Dead, so that's why that one might have gotten forgotten. And now I'm kicking myself, but I'm kind of glad I discovered it now, where I could watch both, at least 1 and 2 together, because they are such good found footage movies. Oh my god, they are they do the found footage formula perfectly. Both of them. And I cannot wait and I love that there's a little story developing around it. But it's they're just feeding you little bits at a time. And it's for the overlapping story to it. And it's so well done, so creepy. I want to get the director on, and the creator of these. I'm going to reach out to him because I'd love to chat with him, but I don't want to bother him right now. He's trying to finish 3. So once 3 comes out, maybe we'll try and get him on.
Because,
that'd
be awesome.
If you have not seen that, both first 1 and 2 are on Screenbox. So and Screenbox is a very affordable streaming service, like Shudder. I have to say both of those are very affordable, even for the year. I mean, I think Screenbox is half the price. I think it's $27 for the year, something like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Really good,
yeah,
and they are getting better and better. They are getting a ton of stuff, and fans of found footage, oh my god, they have 30, 40 found footage films on there. So it's a great alternative to Shudder because they don't really duplicate. So I feel like they both can live together in harmony, both those streaming services. Yes. And they will both be the stream service I will never give up on. Both of those two, I will always have those. But yeah. So anyway, so that's what in terms of that though, found footage. That's what I wanted to say. But this one was great. It's got uncut Super 8 of Dreamkill, uninterrupted cuts, and film commentary. So there is a few features, which RLJ doesn't always. It's funny. They either don't put many on there, or they put them on, but they don't really promote them very well until you get the disc. Exactly. You don't realize. You're like, oh, okay, it's got this.
Next one up is a weird one. This one's from Severin Films, Raiders of the Living Dead from 1986. A newspaper reporter hears of strange goings-on a remote island. He travels there and finds that a mad scientist lives there, and he is creating zombies. This has the kid from The Toy.
Yes.
I don't know how many of you remember The Toy, the Richard Pryor film, but I used to rent this movie
I loved
freaking
it
time.
Back then. Yeah.
I love The Toy. I feel like it could be problematic today. I don't know why.
Never fly today. But it always had one of my favorite lines I always did with Jackie Gleason in it. Remember, he goes, when Richard Pryor puts out his cigar in his thing, he goes, "That's not an ashtray, you asshole."
Yes, exactly. I remember that.
I love that line. Yeah. And that movie is classic Richard Pryor, though. That's
so I gotta tell the premise to those that don't know this movie.
Oh yeah,
so you have to go look this up.
But you'll see why it's problematic. This is not our plot point.
Yes, this is why it would be problematic today. So you have this completely rich kid. I think this is why I liked this movie so much as a kid, because this kid was filthy rich.
Yeah.
And I love Silver Spoons too because of the same thing.
Now not so much. Again,
not so much.
That's problematic in its own way.
But I used to watch I used to read Richie Rich comics. I love the concept of being wealthy because I didn't grow up rich at all. I was poor as a church mouse. So this rich kid, his dad says, you can have anything in this toy store you want for your birthday. Anything you want. So he decides he wants Richard Pryor, who's was he the custodian or something?
Well, yeah. So yeah, just because it sounds even worse. If you don't say why he did, because what happened is there was this giant toy called the Wonder Wheel, which is a big inflatable wheel that you roll around on, and Richard Pryor was having problems with it, and it was deflating, and he was being all funny and slapstick comedy. So Scott Schwartz going in there sees and he's hysterical laughing, and this kid has even though he's spoiled, rotten, and rich, has nothing to laugh about. He's miserable. There's actually some heart to this movie.
There is some heart to it.
There is a good heart to to this movie, like any of those 80s comedies. There's always like heart to it. And Jackie Gleason's like this rich father that never pays attention, but that's all he wants is attention. And he feels like he's like almost looks at it as Richard Pryor's entertaining him in that sequence because he's making him laugh, and the kid does not laugh and smile very often.
Right, yeah.
Very stern, brought up in like a military school, and he comes home. So he's not really like, doesn't have much joy in his life. So granted, you see Richard Pryor being zany. That's why he picks him and says like, oh, I want him. He goes, you can't get him home. But Richard Pryor's kind of down on his luck, needs the money. So he takes the job, and look what you think though, but it ends up being very sweet because they really become like, that line that's like actually kind of like almost like a tearjerker. He's like, you're my only friend, like,
yeah,
and they become really close. It really is a good, through the problematic natures for obvious reasons. Overall, if you watch the movie as a whole and don't look at any kind of like, they'll really look at the problematic elements. It actually is a sweet, heartwarming film. And it's by far one of my favorites growing up. I saw it in the theater. I watched it over and over again on cable. I bought it on Blu-ray because it's what was her that one actress is in it, that was in all those 80s movies, the blonde, Tessa something. She was always in these.
Yeah.
But but anyway, so Scott Schwartz is in that. But the funniest thing is in the trailer goes, the kid from the toy has grown up and made a laser out of a video player. Almost in that kind of voiceover. It's like a very odd choice for whoever's doing the voiceover.
Teresa Gansel.
Yes, Teresa Gansel.
Blonde.
Thank you. That's it.
But this is not about the toy.
No,
this
sorry.
Is about Raiders.
We were way off there. Yeah, okay.
But that is one of our favorites. Raiders of the Living Dead. So this was a new 2K restoration from the original camera negative. Audio commentary with director-producer Samuel M. Sherman. Audio commentary with actor Robert DeVoe. Things to Do in Jersey When You're Dead. Interviews with Fangoria writer Tim Ferrante, editor John Donaldson, and soundtrack composer George Edward Ott. Dying Day original cut. Dark Knight second alternate version. The Weird Stranger, short film produced by Samuel M. Sherman. Dark Knights and Dying Days, behind the scenes stills gallery. Documents of the Dead production gallery, and trailer.
Yeah, and by the way, for those who don't know, Scott Schwartz was every movie in the 80s. He was all over the place. Christmas Story, of course, The Toy, Kidco, this. There was a couple other ones even. I'm not thinking, but he was a lot. He was all over the place. Next one is from Severin Films, and that's The Dead One from 1961. A vengeful voodoo priestess revives and controls a hideous rotting zombie to do her foul bidding and commit unspeakable ritualistic acts of murder. Rarely seen in its original release, 1961 Blood of the Zombie is a historically important missing link in the cadaverous canon of modern zombie cinema. It sounds like you figure like the Thurl Ravengood from the Haunted Mansion, the cadaverous canon of modern zombie cinema.
This one's talking about problematic. This is what I feel like is probably problematic. I don't know. It's a lot of but yeah, it looked very strange.
Yeah, that was supposed to have a question mark, like I'm confused. It wasn't like it was like I just didn't type it properly.
I just put the comment wow because I feel like this one's probably crazy. All right.
Yeah.
Next up was our pick of the week, so we will skip over to Vinegar Syndrome.
Wasn't it? Okay.
Yeah. Sentet 2, 1989. This is a double feature. Indonesia's beloved scream queen Susanna stars in this decidedly demented duo. Ooh, that's some nice alliteration.
Yeah.
Decidedly demented duo of supernatural revenge thrillers Santet and Santet 2, which boast not just over-the-top gore set pieces, but an abundance of slimy creatures, wild plot twists, and an even impromptu musical numbers. There is an alligator lady in this movie that I think is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, and the guy that starts the trailer off, he looks like Alex Winter playing Vlad in Destroy All Neighbors, like that, crazy, gross makeup. But I don't know if this is makeup. I don't know. This might be the guy. I don't know. I don't know who he is. I don't know enough about it. But
yeah, this one looks crazy. This one has a new 2K restoration from the original camera negative. And we got a new film historian.
Yes.
Commentary track with film historian Dr. Eki Emanjaya.
Yeah.
For Santet.
I think you'll like this guy's thing, Tim. You have a little bit in common with him. So it was Eki Emanjaya. He said before he was a historian, he worked in IT. And he was known as Eki the Techie. That career didn't last long, though. As it turned out, his only solution was to restart the computer. So,
which it sounds surprisingly like my early IT work. Actually, at my first job, everybody knew me as Reboot because that was the first thing I had them do.
Wasn't there usually a show called Reboot? A TV show?
It might have been.
Yeah.
They literally, people literally called me Reboot, the 8 years I was there.
But okay, so here's the thing. you being in IT probably get these jokes all the time. However, the funny thing is rebooting your computer actually does something when people think it's just a easy way out. For those who know computers, rebooting basically lines up all the zeros and ones back again. It's literally, there's a reason for it, because like anything else, it could go out of sorts. So when you redo it, it like restarts it and puts it back into the proper place. And sometimes that does all you need, you know?
It fixes a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a running joke among IT people.
Of course. Yeah. And everyone says, all they do is I could have done that. I'm like, well, you didn't. So,
you didn't do it before you called.
Yeah, you still called, so why didn't you try that first? Because that's the first thing you always do. Just like the cable modems or cable boxes, you know what?
I do it to my own computer.
Yeah.
I'm a computer guy.
I'm trying to defend you, Tim, because I feel like I've been victim of it before I really learned more and more about computers, like in the early days, and I would say like, oh, that's all I had to do. I could have done that myself. Well, what I do is, I'm like, I will call IT at my department, but I'll, at my work if I can't figure something out. But my first I Google it. If I can't, and I'm still having trouble with it, or sometimes I don't have, sometimes like, probably your job is the same way. There's certain things they don't want the average person messing with, so you need an admin password to go in, and that's all fine and good, and I totally accept that. But I usually try my best to figure it out myself, and when they do show me how to do something that I could have done, I make notes and I have it in a file, so I don't bother them a second time to do it, because you're there to help. You're not there to fix every single problem. You're there for the ones that come up that can't be fixed by the average person. Anyone using a computer should know some of the basic things, but I don't know. That's just me. I got to defend my co-host and friend here. He works hard for his, he works hard. He's proud of his job. It's a damn rare thing these days.
You've never worked in the private sector.
Yeah, they expect I love when you always harass Ken with that. We have a lot of things. I swear to God, if there's ever a Patreon level, the $1,000 tier is going to be, you can enter our text feed for the.
Yes, exactly.
Because some of the funniest stuff comes out there that makes no sense when we tape. But one of the things is, like, our friend Ken is not. Let's just say, I'm not going to say what he does for a living if he hasn't said it yet. But basically, he doesn't work for a company per se. Yeah. So that's all I'll say. And so whenever he says something, and Tim and I will compare the job, Tim always throws that line. He goes, "You never worked in a private sector before. They expect results." So,
speaking of that, I'm reading the Ghostbusters 1 and 2 novelizations.
Oh my God, I didn't know. I think I had the first one. I didn't know they came out with the second one.
Yeah, so they released a Kindle version of both of them in one book.
Oh, I need to get that.
And it's so interesting because, like, the detail of it is so, like, above and beyond. Like it explains how Ray got his house that he ended up triple mortgaging to get the fire station.
Really?
Like that's how detailed it is. It's got like, but the jokes don't necessarily translate well to the written page, but the kind of extra stuff you see is kind of really cool.
Well, now, do you know for a fact if this book was written, like, after the movie or kind of coincide? Because remember back in the 80s where, like, you would, like, I remember the day the movie came out, you usually find the novelization in the store with it. Like, it was almost a hand-in-hand, they kind of went.
Because usually what they would do is they'd hire a writer to write the novelization a few months before the movie came out, but they would base it on the script at the time, and then the script would obviously change.
Yeah. Well, and if you look at the cast, okay, you got Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson. So, and 3 of the 4 of those, nothing against Ernie Hudson, just 3 of them before at the point were like huge comedians. I mean, 2 were on Saturday, 3 actually, because Harold Ramis was like didn't he write for SNL? I could be wrong on that. Right, he did. Right. Yeah, so you but Ernie Hudson just got good comic timing. So if you look at that can't be translated, because I bet you some of those lines in the movie were ad-libbed or just only could be delivered that way by Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd.
Like, I think I'll give you a perfect example. The one we were just talking about where it says, "You've never worked in the private sector. They expect results." You see, you hear that in the movie, and that's where Dan Aykroyd ends it. They expect results. And then that's the laugh. But in the book, it says, "They expect results. They'll kick you out on your bazooka." I'm like,
really?
And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. That doesn't, like, I'm glad he didn't say that line. Like, that would totally ruin the whole line. But in the book, it's like, "They'll kick you out on your bazooka." And I'm like, oh, that's extraneous. And, but like, and these were written in the 80s. These are the official novelizations. They weren't, like, recently written. But it just goes to show you that their comedic timing, they probably knew when to stop the joke and when to... mean, these were veteran
comedic actors. I'm sorry, I made a faux pas. It was Howard Raymond. Sorry, he did SCTV, not SNL.
That's what I was. I had that in my mind too, and I should have known that. I should have corrected you, but
he actually. But yeah, see, here's why I got confused. He was actually offered Saturday Night Live, but he chose SCTV. So it was like and he did National Lampoons, I knew, but so that's what happened, I think, is what, okay, so that's where I got confused. So I was like partially right. I knew he had an affiliation to Saturday Night Live because I think it was that he chose.
So stop screaming at the podcast. Yes. We fixed it. We corrected it.
Listen, we always get it right in the end. We figure it out. I do my research. We learn from our mistakes. We don't just let them go. Okay.
All right. So Brian's pick of the week. Oh, that's actually
both of our picks of the week.
Yeah, but it's yours to go.
Yeah, it's from Vinegar Syndrome, and it's The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock in 4K from 1962. In 19th century London, a woman weds a doctor with necrophiliac tendencies whose first wife died under mysterious circumstances and might be coming back from the grave to torment her successor.
That's a red flag, ladies.
Yeah, red flag. It's funny when it's in 19th century London. All I can think of is, remember Danger Mouse, that cartoon? It would always start with London. And then it would like go in there.
And Penfold, was it Penfold?
Yes, I think.
Yes.
I
think his name was Penfold. His little.
Oh my god, I watch that show.
I love Danger Mouse.
Does that have a full? I gotta look to see if there's like somewhere some either streaming service that has that, or is there like a overseas disc set of all of them? Those are fun. I love that show.
People are like, "What the hell are you talking?"
I know.
There was a cartoon called Danger Man.
Danger Man. Look it up. We can't go into this. We're already going too long with the sidetracks. But look up Danger Mouse.
Danger Mouse is on Tubi. 9 seasons of Danger Mouse is on Tubi.
Oh God, there goes my weekend.
Yes,
Tim, why did you do that? I got 330 plus,
and it's on Peacock. If you don't,
it's
want
on the
ads,
Cock too.
It's on the Cock.
Oh my goodness,
it's on Netflix too.
Really?
It's on everywhere. There's Danger Mouse everywhere you could throw a rock.
Oh my god! How did I not see it in my?
I don't know. There's like 9 seasons on every streaming service.
Oh my god! Well, there goes my weekend. Anyway, so
we're gonna watch The Toy. We're gonna watch Danger Mouse.
We gave you guys a lot of homework for the next dismemberment. Anyway, but this one kind of looks really cool. There's a lot of conversation, even though I wrote conversation because I don't know why I can't type lately, but conversation in this trailer, but it still looks really good. This has got a 4K Blu-ray combo pack. It's got a new 4K restoration from the original camera negative. The 87.
Oh, we didn't even tell us what the title
Oh, yes. No, I did. The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock.
Oh, The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock. Okay, sorry.
The 87-minute Italian cut featuring both its Italian and English language tracks and is available on both discs. The 76-minute American cut with English language tracks and available on both discs. Oh, here we go. Commentary track with film historians Eugenio Ercolani and Troy Howarth and Nathaniel Thompson. So, of course, Eugenio Ercolani is the one that doesn't appear as much. So, if you remember him, he's the lesser-known Italian version of the alter ego of Steve Urkel. And his catchphrase, "Did I do it?" Oh my god! I don't know how we didn't get canceled after that.
I know we should have got canceled for that.
But it was so funny though. You want to know how funny it is? I forgot that we did him before, and I already were handcrafting almost the identical story for him.
Oh my god!
And then realized he was there. Of course, Troy Howarth. He's our posh Englishman, and he's the Statler and Waldorf or Stygian Witch, and Nathaniel Thompson, same thing. Okay. It's also got The Horrible Dr. Frida, an interview with the second assistant director Marcello Avallone, the most honorable Julian Perry, an interview with screenwriter Ernesto Gastaldi. Oh my god, what is this? Necropolisis and Necrophiliacs. Filmmaker Marcello Avallone, an Italian horror, and experience of working within the genre. Of what? Necrophiliacs? Is there a genre of necrophiliacs? Wow. Okay. Scene select commentary track with actress Barbara Steele, moderated by Barbara Steele archivist Russ Lanier. That's how you know you made it big, because if you show up on a special feature and you come equipped with your own archivist. But what does that mean?
That almost deserves historian status.
It does.
If you're a Barbara Steele archivist.
Yeah, like Russ Lanier, but I didn't prep it, so maybe next time he'll get something. But like, look at that though. She's like doing a select commentary track. You can get her on there, and she comes with an archivist to explain what she's saying. I don't understand if she's doing it. You know? I
know. Like, how do you archive somebody that's not even dead yet?
I know, that's literally like while she's speaking. What do you say? Like, in 5 years, that's going to be. I almost want to buy it just for that. I want to hear this now. Anyway, it's got the English Raptus title sequence, an Italian trailer, a still gallery, and reversible sleeve artwork.
Oh well. So to wrap up February, we had Let me scroll back here. We had What Goes Around from 2020, The Black Mass from 2023, The Whip in the Body from 1963, VHS 85 2023, Raiders of the Living Dead from 1986, The Dead One from 1961, Santet 2 double feature from 1988-89, and our pick of the week, the horrible Dr. Hitchcock 4K from 1962. And we would like you to go watch Danger Mouse and the Toy. That is your homework.
Yes. Oh, and Tim, I forgot. I missed a joke in there. I'm going to tell it now because you just said it. It was, what was it? Raiders of the what? What was it?
Raiders of the Living Dead.
Living Dead.
No.
I should have said Schwartz. Why does it always have to be Schwartz? But I didn't.
Oh, that was a good one.
But yeah, it would have been great at the right time.
At the right time.
Damn it!
Unfortunately, we missed the.
But we went off on the toy tangent. It was much more valuable in the end.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we will be back here for our March releases before you know it, because this month is going to fly by.
Yeah, because it really it's like it started late for a short month, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna see the releases start to pick back up again. I have a feeling so.
Oh yeah.
So
I know March has a big one already. So I think it's like that. I think there's a couple of big ones in March, if I remember correctly. I can't think of what that in my head. I just know I have a bunch of pre-orders.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you back here next month.
See ya.